Good morning, my name is Chris Fox, and today we're talking about mailing lists, specifically coming up with a plan. So what's been lacking in the last two videos is a holistic approach to doing all of my lists and getting them where I need to be. And so I've sort of taken a big step back, called full stop, and worked on a plan that is going to get me from kind of a tangled mess into a kind of robust mailing list system that I can be proud of. So without further ado, let's jump into the meat of the video. We're going to look at my screen and you'll see the work that I've done. Okay, so as you can see, we are looking at a spreadsheet that I've created. And basically this was a move of desperation where I looked at all the stuff that I needed to do for my mailing list, and I realized the smartest way for me to approach this is not to granularly change a given mailing list. Rather, it is to holistically determine what lists I should keep and what work needs to be done on the list that I'm keeping. And so this is what I did. You can read this. I'm not going to go over every field or anything. But you can see I'm jettisoning a whole bunch of lists, and I am creating some new ones. And I sort of have now a plan for how this is going to look. And the reason why I chose to do it here in an external document is twofold. First, if I choose to move everything over to another mailing list provider, I can do so and keep this external and still have an idea of what my organization should look like. And the second part is I'm learning that I'm going to need an assistant. I'm going to need somebody that can do stuff like this on a regular basis. Most of my friends in this professional space that are at the level that I'm at have hired somebody to do a lot of this work for them. And the only way I think that's feasible is if I clearly define how it's all supposed to work. And so it'll help me, and eventually if I can get somebody to run this for me, it'll help them too. But for now, it's helping me. So I wrote it all down. I have a much better idea of what I'm trying to do. And this first pane is all the existing lists, plus the brand new ones I've created. And you can see that's Fiction 2018 and Nonfiction 2018. Going forward, I'm less interested in differentiating the people that are signing up to my list beyond the fact that they're fiction or nonfiction. The next pane is the autoresponder sequences that I'm setting up. I've decided that each one of the surviving lists is going to get a 5 autoresponder series. This is what I've always wanted to create, but I've never actually taken the time to do. And so you can see first whether or not I have updated the landing page and when that last occurred, then when the initial autoresponder was created, and so on and so forth all the way down the chain. And I've only thus far created a landing page for Fiction 2018, which we're going to see in the video. And then I redid the Magic Chronicles autoresponder, as you're also going to see. One of the information gathering steps, which we'll go over in a second, is I actually signed up to all of my lists again to see what kind of welcome I was getting and sort of duplicate the reader experience. And again, we'll go over that in a sec. But the last thing I want to show you on this page is I've got all of my books now, and I'm adding a field for the last time the link was checked in that book, and then what the link actually is, and so that I can see at a glance where all of my books are pointing. Because right now I had to go through manually and figure out, well, if I sign up to the destroyer list, what kind of email am I getting? And as you're going to see in a second, not the one they should be. And I've done it for my entire backlist. So I'm going to have to go through book by book and make sure that all of them are updated on Amazon. That's going to mean uploading some new copies. So there's a fair amount of work to do here. Some of this I can offload and hire someone to do, which is good because I don't have enough time to be doing it all myself. But I can get it done that way and know that it happened and see, when and where this work occurred, so that at a glance, I can manage my whole backlist and make sure that it's sending people where they should be, which is something I badly needed to set up for a while now. So that's the spreadsheet I've put together, and I'll show that in next week's video as well. But before that, I want to go into the emails that I got from signing up. This first one is definitely the most embarrassing. If you sign up right now, so let's say you buy Destroyer today, and you click the link I've got on that book, and you sign up, this is the email you're going to get. And it tells you that the next release in the series is Void Wraith, book 2 in the series. And there are 6 books out in the series, and this is the email you're getting. So every once in a while, I do get, a kind subscriber who will ping me and say, hey, listen, Chris, you should probably update this. And I'm finally getting around to doing that now. But it's good to know what the experience is and to see kind of what my readers are getting today and to realize, how badly out of date some of the stuff is. Going down the list, if you sign up to my death list, you're still getting the very first autoresponder that I ever created. This is it right here. It actually still reads pretty well. It's more evergreen than I expected. But I do want to do some tweaks to this as well. so I'm going to make some changes, but it was nice to kind of confirm what readers are getting. And then the next one, this is if you sign up directly on my website, you get your complimentary copy of Planet Strider. This one still looks pretty good, but you're going to see that I've made an even better version of what I want sent out to them. And then finally, the nonfiction, if you sign up on my website, this is one of the things that I updated recently and still looks pretty good. So you get 5,000 words per hour for free, and then it goes down my entire back catalog and does include plot gardening so that they can look at all of the nonfiction books. And then at the very bottom, it tells them a little bit about the YouTube channel. So I might modify this to make the YouTube channel a little bit more prominent, but otherwise, I really like this email, and I think it's doing what it needs to do. So this one probably won't need a lot of changes. These last two are tests. This is one of the potential ones I was working on. Right now, if you sign up to the YouTube channel, this is what you will see. I would like to combine this with this so that I have one nonfiction email going out, and that'll be probably the only change I need to make there. And then if you sign up to the Magitech Chronicles, you were still getting an email giving them a free beta copy, which, it's fine that I don't mind giving away a beta copy of the book, but this is badly out of date, and I finally got to a point where this has already been replaced and changed, as you'll see in the next segment. Anyway, those are my existing autoresponders. I took the time to look at each one of them, to think about what still needs to exist, how many of these can be condensed, and to make it less complicated. I mean, I've got a lot of mailing lists, and I want to reduce that amount, and I want to reduce the overhead, and I'm doing that, and this is the process. So the last thing I want to show you today is the new list that I've created and the new lead page that goes with it. So we're going to look at Fiction Website Signups 2018. That's that brand new list. And I'm putting this into effect everywhere. This will be what people get going forward on my website. And then once I've got this into place, then I'll start folding the old lists into it. But for now, I'm just concerned about getting this rolling. And so that's, sort of, I guess, my goal for the next week. And you'll see in the next video whether or not I'm actually able to pull that off. But the lead page for it, this is what I've just finished building. I'm using lead pages, which is expensive. It's something like $400 a year. I can't remember what I'm paying for it. So I'm not recommending that everybody rush out and get this. BookFunnel will allow you to create your own landing page. MailChimp will allow you to create your own landing page. So you can do less elegant landing pages very simply in other platforms. I just happen to really like lead pages and the final product that it puts together. So this probably took me about 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's designed for anyone who signs up to any of my fiction lists, and it's everything that I've ever written for free together so that they're getting it all at once. And then I can measure what are they clicking on. Like if they get this email and this user decides that they only want to read Exile, I'll see that. If they download all three, I'll see that too. So it's still giving me some data, but it's consolidating my signups and making a more attractive offer. I can give them more stuff. They're getting 3 books instead of just 1. So this is what the actual page looks like live on the web. And this is what I'm going to be using going forward. And if you click on the Claim My Books Now, it gives you this little sign up. And what you can do as an author if you want to test your own thing. So you can see my email, obviously, is chris@chrisfoxwrites.com. But if you want to test something and you have a Gmail email address, you can put a plus after your name and then whatever you would like to do. So, any random characters is fine. And as far as the mailing list provider is concerned, that is chris@chrisfoxwrites.com. even though I have a bunch of gobbledygook afterwards. And this means that if you've already signed up for a list with your real email address, you can sign up with a fake one to test it. So I use a lot of these test email addresses. And so you can see I'm going to sign up to the list. It's submitting it. This is the default exit page. I'll probably change this to point back to my website and then create a landing page. So you're sort of, funneling them right back into the loop. But for now, this is what a reader would see if they sign up today. And if we go back to our list here, what I should see, fingers crossed, is when we refresh this, Fiction Website Signups 2018 should have incremented by 1. So I hit refresh. And sure enough, there's my brand new subscriber on that list. So I've tested that this list works. The last piece, which I'll have to do for next week, is to build the email that I'm going to send out to people that's just going to give them these 3 books. And it'll look very similar if we go back to this one. It's going to look very similar to this, but for fiction. I'm going to walk them through the various series that I have and let them know, hey, these are the various things that I write and what you can read. And I'm going to finish the Autoresponder Sequences so that that particular list will be done for next week, and you guys will get to see all of the emails that I'm sending out to them and sort of how I want to retain them, because my goal is to send them an email immediately, to send them another email a few hours later, to send one about a week after that, and then maybe 3 months after that, and then a final email probably 6 months to a year in. And that's it. And I want to get that set up now so that it's evergreen and I'm not having to change this out every 6 months. It's giving whatever current content I have to people away. So anyway, those are my goals. This is the work that I've done thus far. You can see that while I've accomplished a lot, there's still a lot to do. And I don't know how many videos are going to be in this series. I'm just going to keep working on my list until I get them perfect and show you every stage of this. And I do want to point out, it's still very, very possible that I may migrate to something like ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit or any of the other mailing list providers out there. I'm still undecided and still doing research on that. So one of the videos will probably focus exclusively on, what choice do I make in the long run. But I wanted to approach it more granularly once I had an idea of all the work that needed to be done so I can start checking off boxes and doing whatever I can do now. And the beauty of lead pages is if you go into the mailing list connection, so I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to go through these controls very quick. Over here on the side, you can see I've got integrations, and it's integrating directly into whatever list I tell it to. Well, what I can do is change it from MailChimp to ActiveCampaign or any other integration that I've got. So if I do all my work putting together all of my landing pages, that work is not wasted if I choose to move to a new provider. And so I'm kind of building with that in mind to prepare myself for that inevitable switch that I'm going to have to make at some point. Anyway, guys, this is where I'm at for now. Hopefully this is useful. If so, please let me know in the comments. I know that mailing lists are not as sexy and exciting as some of the stuff I release on the channel, but I think it is really important for us as authors to master it. So hopefully this is something you're working on too. Anyway, if you do have questions, please post them below. And as you guys know, I need to get back to the writing. I will see you next week.